Ooh, what's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another session of Coffee and Martial Arts. Salute, 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 cheers. Excellent coffee today. Excellent day. And even better guest. Yes, sir. We have the red carpet today for you guys because we have an amazing guest all the way from Florida. Maestro Sean Kelley, Master of the Arts, 9-degree black belt in Kempo. He's here with us today. But before we get him here, you know me, I got to say the proper announcements. Let me just say that we are going live through our Facebook page, Master Frank Soto page. So please like and follow us. Like the page, follow us, and share the video, right? Remember, we do this to serve the community, to serve you guys, because we believe in all of you. I believe in you guys. Yes, sir. And this show wouldn't be possible without you being here, okay? So don't forget to send your comments and ask your questions because we're going to have an amazing, amazing show today, okay? I'm always excited. I always like being here. I really do. I feel very privileged, and it's an honor. And it's a privilege, really, to be able to listen to all of this individuals, amazing individuals, I should say. And everybody has a story to tell. And if you take the time to listen, you will learn something. I can assure you that. I have learned so much in this past couple of years, but with all the guests and all the people here. But there are certain days, there are certain individuals that get me, get that level of enthusiasm even higher. And today is that day, okay? So it's one of those days that we get to have an amazing guest, a man who has been around, who has, what we say, pay his dues, and has a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom and, a lot of experience, not just teaching the martial arts, but promoting it, creating events, doing things for his community, generating his own organization, and helping with, for example, Stump the Bullying program, traveling all over the world, and so on and so forth. So today is one of those days. But we're also, let me remind you, we're also going live through my YouTube channel, the Kinetic Dragon channel. You can find it at Frank Soto Kinetica on YouTube, okay? So if you're there, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the little bell so you get notified every time we go live, okay? We're also going live through the Internacional with a C Hall of Fame page of Argentina, okay? This is a great group of martial artists led by Master Juan Martín Álvarez. Saludos al Master y a toda la gente de Argentina y Sudamérica, saludos. Si hay alguien que nos está escuchando en español, haga sus preguntas en español y se las traduciré, okay? So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. So, like I was saying, today we have a great show, okay? So let me get ready because I want to share the title and everything here. Here we go. Okay, so today we have Master of the Arts, Sean Kelley, all the way from Florida, okay? He is a 9-degree black belt in Kempo Karate, American Kempo Karate, okay? And today he's sharing with us the topic, Mastering the Arts Through Mentorship, okay? He's also very active in the self-education industry. He's a great leader, okay? So he's going to talk to us about that, okay? So let's welcome, give him a hand of applause. Yes, sir, to Maestro Sean Kelley. Hello, sir.
How you doing, my friend?
Fine. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It got me all excited with that promo thing, and looks like you started off on a good foot of doing your little go to work and showing all that dynamics. Who couldn't get fired up with that kind of energy?
Well, it's the coffee here, sir. Coffee is good. So.
Okay.
And I just finished teaching. I just finished teaching the kids class, so that also gets me pumped up.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Every opportunity we get to share and be with, the generations coming next is really, really important, more now than ever.
Agree. Yes, sir. We, like I always say, we need to make the new generation fall in love with the art, and share the passion and enthusiasm that got us starting in the first place, right?
Well, that's just it. I mean, it starts at the door they enter in on. And like you said, many a times, it's like everyone has a story. And in today's world, we sometimes have to wonder, I mean, what prompted a parent or an adult themselves, whichever, decided to walk in and find interest in the martial arts, let it be Kempo or any other system or style. And then they have to decide, because they're a customer. Bottom line, they're a customer. We have to serve them in their needs and profile what those needs could be. And the best thing to do when you're doing that is feel confident enough that you have a product to service them and meet their goals. But in the same token, every day they attend, they should be learning a lesson to go home with, not just a physical lesson, a life lesson. And that was one of the reasons why in this topic, we were talking about mentorship. What is that? I mean, really, what does that mean? If I said to you, Mr. Soto, mentorship, what does that mean to you in the word in itself? What comes to mind?
Well, becoming somebody who can give some type of example, right? Some type of sharing wisdom or an advice when it needs to. Right. And also an ear to listen to the person, right? Because sometimes people just want to be heard.
Well, that's just it. You know, John Maxwell says that good leaders are good listeners. And the more we listen to what their needs are, and like you said, you know, we really do have a different type of culture in the martial arts. You know, everybody wants to belong to something. Not many really set their goals off on saying, you know, I'm going to be a black belt. I don't, that isn't as true as maybe before. The ultimate goal would be to maybe reach that. But more importantly is to get them into the door and realize they have now stepped into a paradigm shift, both in their current affairs and the journey that is set forth. And one of the first things we have to come to terms with is to teach them the difference between commercial martial art and educational martial arts.
Right.
Just like going to school. It's going to take you almost 9 months to a full year to go from one grade to your next grade. And how funny people want to be a black belt in less than 2 years. So we have to set the tone on letting them know that mind, body, and spirit takes time. Yes. Culturally speaking, children take more time because they're still trying to grow anatomically. And due to kinesiology or physiology, we have to educate the parents about their patience and their support. But most important with young people is academics, getting them through the years of education that they got to go to school every day. And that's where all the worst habits that they could ever learn, from the bad language to the bad habits, start. And then they go back home and the parents have to fix once again to put them back on track. If mind you, that there's two parents in that household. So there's a lot of times when people like you or I, as a coach, we become the surrogate, the part that's missing. And not only are you teaching the student, you're also teaching the parents, because really they are the coaches. So we have to teach them that this is a lifestyle, no more than the privilege of driving an automobile. It's a privilege. The same thing applies in the martial arts. It's a privilege. It is not a necessity.
And it's also a privilege to be able to teach and to mentor someone, right?
Well,
I mean,
yes.
What?
100%. Just because you obtain a black belt does not make you an automatic instructor. That is not even close. A good friend of mine, Greg Silva, who had his consulting company called United Professionals, made it a point of showing people, those who become instructors, technically you're a white belt now that you own a school or club, because there's no experience you've ever had before other than knowing the details. Okay, let's talk about student retention. Now, you've been an instructor for a long time.
Right.
What do you do? How long has your longest student been with you?
20, let's see. Well, see, my longest student, it's actually one of my first students.
There Hector. You go. Okay.
He started with me in 95. I started teaching in late, I think I started teaching in late 94, beginning of 95. He started around there and he's still with me.
And how many of those would you say you have within 10 to 15 years still being with you?
Well,
One or two?
yeah. Well, I have a lot of friends that come back. You know, but
You just
they're
said
not
it.
active.
You just said it. They come back.
Yes, yes.
What makes them want to come back? What is it that you provide, or do you think for them that they feel going back to Mr. Soto, I'm going to get something on the return every time they see you or talk to you?
Well, different things. I think one of it's a nice and safe environment.
There you go. Safe.
Not just physically, but mentally
Right.
and emotionally safe, right?
Correct.
And it becomes an extension of their families.
So do you think and believe that the martial arts is a safe place?
It should be.
It's
It
supposed
depends.
to be. We set that perimeter, correct? Because trust is something that's welcome at the door, and they come into that door, and then it's earned, and it's a process in itself. It's just like a director taking a young child by the hand and walking them through the steps,
Yes.
going through all the things that it's going to be required of them, called the martial arts etiquette. Now, it's a language. The bottom line is what we do is a different total language than what they're
Yes.
accustomed to. So that's foreign in itself.
Yes.
So is manners. Once again, that those days are almost gone too. So we're
Yes.
bringing back, yes, sir. No, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Please.
Yes, sir.
Raise my hand without just shouting out. Sitting up straight. Courtesy. Respect. All the byproducts of what the investment is. So then they go through the years of this investment, and they learn all these physical skills, and they get caught into the learning of the possibility of sport martial arts, and they like the awards, they get the medals and the trophies. And that by itself teaches a lesson called win or lose. It's just play the game, because you learn lessons on both winning and losing, by the way. To me,
Right.
I always tell people winning, it was just pure luck for you that day. Bottom line. If you lose, you can look back and go, I should have done this. I could have worked on that. You got something to go back with called homework.
Right.
Then you get to be a black belt. Let's say we go past the first, second, and third degree. Have you ever noticed that a lot of the black belts, once they become black belts, the instructor sometimes drops the ball of teaching them how to be one?
Meaning?
How to be a black belt.
Okay.
We assume that they already know how to be one, just like yellow,
Right.
orange, purple, blue, every other color. They
Right.
were still guided for every color they're on after until black, almost like dead end. You're done.
Yeah.
Now we have a curriculum in the Kempo system up through, like you and I were just talking about, third degree green belt stuff.
Right.
So do we not have a college degree title system, associate professor, professorship,
Yeah.
senior professor, associate master?
Right.
What does all that mean? Well, I mean, what is a professor? How does one become a professor? Is it just like a birthday? They get a new candle on the cake and it makes them, they get a new stripe to go with it? Or is there something earned, you think, or another way of behaving?
Well, it should be about professoring, right? I mean, what is it that you're professing? What is it that you're teaching? And
Got
it's not just about the art. You should become an example, because you need to make yourself responsible. The word is responsibility. I mean,
Accountability.
Yes, accountability. Yes, you have to respond, right? You have to be accountable of your actions in and out the mat, not just on the mats. I mean, in and out of your studio.
That's right.
Because you do become, you should be a part of, an example for your society, because you're supposed to become, and I'm saying supposed because it's up to the individual, but you are investing in yourself to become a better person, right?
So let's understand this. How long? Well, since 95, you said you've been teaching.
Yes, sir.
Can we agree that no matter what you're wearing out in your community, people are going to know Frank Soto? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So you already said that no matter if I'm teaching or not, I've now become a public figure.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So that means you're always going to be looking over your shoulder, never knowing who's looking at you.
Well,
Eyes on you.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
don't
gonna
have to do that because I'm always looking to act the martial way, to leave it, to make it a lifestyle.
there you, that's it. You
So
made it
that, so I don't, I made that decision a long time ago because I didn't want to, I did make my mistakes when I was a younger adult, right?
okay.
Closer to a kid. When I was in my early 20s, I did stuff, not really bad stuff, but stuff that I wasn't aligned to the martial way. And I stopped, for example, I stopped drinking when I was 25 or 26. Uh, I stopped smoking and stuff like that that I did when I was, in college, when I was a kid during that era. I stopped because of the martial arts because I wanted to become that professor.
There you go. You've already identified things that needed to be stopped
Yes.
because you became a martial human.
Yes, definitely.
As a martial human, you are now taking it upon your daily activity to look and help and guide and lead and protect others. And we are microsensitive to looking in our communities and realizing when there's trouble, when there's crisis, when there's need, when there's someone who is suffering even mental health.
Yes.
And we're not afraid to step up, even if it's a stranger. So my point to mentorship is, have you ever taught a class or two or a different age bracket and you just couldn't find the right words to get your point across?
Probably at the beginning.
Okay. So you found a method to your madness. You have now a way of getting your communication skills to
Yeah,
the.
I've studied a lot to get there. It's not that I had this talent or anything like that. I look for other areas to
You
be
just
able
said it. What'd you
yeah.
say? I study a
Yeah.
lot
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
I look for,
For
which means
mentors.
that's my point. So at your status and even my own, I still have mentors in my life
Oh, definitely. Yes,
because we're
always.
all, it's like shedding new skin. Everyone, if you want to remain or become successful, okay, and to grow, you have to align yourself with people that you know that will take you there.
Yes.
You
Oh yeah.
know, and I told you what Mr. Maxwell said in regards to about growth in itself. You can't stop growing. The time you stop and quit thinking you know it all is the day you stop where you're at and everything you're going to do. So he said, I don't care if you're 42 or 59, 63, and he was 75 at the time of telling the story. He said, we're always under construction. Always under construction. And he made a point of saying before his dad even passed away, his own father, he was 95 years old. And he said, John, keep growing by keep learning. Align yourself and never be afraid to change your circle of friends.
Right.
Because if they're pulling you down, you're going to go with them.
Yes.
So, like myself, I don't do handouts, but I will do lift up and hand up. So let's lift people up versus push them back down. So in my years in the martial arts for over 40 years, I've had 5, 6 different mentors for different things I wanted to be better schooled at. One of the things, and you said it earlier about professorship, is if I was in an audience that I had people of higher rank status that are advanced, I'd better have the communication skills, not the physical ability only. The
Right.
way you teach people, you don't grab a student, pull them up in front of the class and smack them around and say, this is how it's done. That's not intelligent teaching.
Right.
Okay. That's part of the problem. That's a bully.
Yes.
We want to be able to, because you don't even know what they've gone through. What if they were someone who's dealt with, personal abuse? And I'm just agitating the situation. And Ed Parker, if you've ever been in his company, he brought humor. He was known for his everyday gestures and analogies, and he made you feel good leaving, not just only coming.
Right.
So in mentorship, you got to understand how to profile the students all of them, by the way, since each one of them are your client, and what's going to make them tick? What's going to make that light bulb go on? What is it we can do? And if you don't have the skill, don't ever be afraid to say, that's a great question. I don't have the answer, but I'll tell you what, I have the resources
to look for it.
And that's why I have for years and years, and will still do it, bring some of the best talent out there, no matter where they're from, and come and teach at my location. Let it be through a seminar camp or just a private class, because I love to learn how to teach even better come tomorrow. And you can learn from everyone. Anyone who has a skill to connect to the audience, because, everyone can communicate, but only few can really connect.
Yes, agree.
So mentorship means on our own, on the days that we're off, read, grab a book that's going to feed you more thought, maybe more words of wisdom, and take the underdog. They're some of the best future instructors you'll ever have. Give them a chance, because public speaking is always going to be a top fear for the most of us. I remember in 10th grade, I failed a class. It was an assignment that we all had to get in front of the class and do a speech of some sort. And I remember sitting there and the teacher goes, okay, Sean, you need to be ready for this, this class that you'll have to participate in. I said, I'm not doing it. And I actually failed that moment of that particular assignment because I was more afraid of my audience, not so much maybe the topic of what was assigned to me. That bothered me so much, Mr. Soto, that it went into my adulthood to the point when I was involved with the Guardian Angels in the 80s and 90s. I had my own radio show live.
Nice.
For a year and a half.
Nice.
I spoke live, and it was called For Your Information. It was about crime prevention. And I overcame that fear because I wanted to, and because I had such a passion to connect. And I will say part of my gift earned was I know how to relate to people. I know how to find myself teaching from the back row forward, not only to the front row that's in front of me.
Right. And would you say that the martial arts played a big role in you facing your fears?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Not only that, with a very difficult upbringing from childhood, a broken home, there was violence. I needed that connection. And as a teenager, you look for, you could go down the wrong road or you could be on the right path. And fortunate, I found my path. I found my place, and it allowed me to get through every part of that cycle of life, from young teenager to my 20s, 30s. And the martial arts has never divorced me. It's never abandoned me. And it was my and I've gone through 2 divorces, as a matter of fact. Life happens, and I'll always go back to what makes me feel good and revamp and refocus. And the first thing I'll do is eliminate my own wrong and fix it. You got to have faith. I mean, really, you got to be spiritually connected too. You got to know what you don't know, and never be afraid to say, I'm sorry.
Yes.
How can I fix this? Remember Mr. Tom Kelley?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Before he passed away, we were at an event, and he said to me, and you could tell already that he was slowly declining with his health. And we always had a very good relationship. He used to call me Little Kelly, and that he goes, I love you anyways, Little Kelly, even if you spell your name wrong. Mine is with an EY, and his is just with a Y.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he said, Sean, he said, if there's one thing I'd really like to do before I leave this earth, he said, I'd like to repair many of the broken bridges I caused. Oh. He says, there was times with people that, we were really good friends, and I wish I could go back and say, I wonder why we stopped that. What was it really that much of importance that we separate those relationships? And that's another thing about mentorship. Building relationships and maintaining them takes work, and it's not perfect. So one thing I learned after 2 bad relationships is that taking advice from someone that's going to make me be a better man as a human. You know, you've heard of Dalai Lama, right?
Yes, sir.
One of the questions, and it may not be the exact way of being said, but they asked him a question about his thoughts when it came toward humanity. You know what his answer was to that? They said, the question was, Mr. Dalai Lama, or whichever they called him, humbled one, or whatever the phase that they would call him.
Right.
He asked that question. They said, "What do you think about humanity? What's your thoughts to that?" His first comeback was the word. He said, "Man." They said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Man." And what do you mean by that? He says, "Man will sacrifice his health in order to make money."
Yes.
And then when he has an issue concerning his health, he don't make enough money because he's so much worried about the future versus the importance of the now. What's going on now? And what is your purpose? So there was a book written out by this gentleman. I believe his name is Jeff Henderson. I could be saying it wrong, but it's called For, F-O-R. What are you for? So what is your purpose? Now that you've done you probably know all your forms and your techniques, your basics. You know, we can all say we can trip over our own feet, and no, not one of us is perfect. But there's one thing that we're pretty good at is our passion of the arts. That's what makes us go back and keep practicing. But now that you've done that, what are you going to do with it? What is your for? So
Mine?
you got, yeah, well, not only yours, mine, all of us. But let me ask you now. What is your purpose now?
To empower and inspire people through the martial arts, through the method of the fist, basically, so they can become better humans.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't you want them to feel what you feel, correct?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
Especially
want them to get the same joy that you've invested. And this is one of the greatest investments one could ever put themselves into.
You know, one of the things that I would like, and I always try to share to people, is if they walk their lives the correct way, you know, the honorable way, they would have no regrets. I can say I'm going to be 50 next month, and I have no regrets whatsoever. I don't regret anything in my life. I'm so happy where I'm at now and where I'm going, and there's nothing I would change. And that's something I owe to the martial arts.
There you go. Well, and you're giving back now. For example, how long have you been doing this podcast?
2.5 years.
So in 2.5 years, do you have more listeners?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You have more people coming on willingly to share their story?
Definitely. Yes.
Has everyone that's been interviewed told you how much their passion is within the martial arts?
I guess most of them. Yeah, I would say, I would think all of them. Yes.
Yeah. It's a unique language, and we can go anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
Anywhere in the world and be welcomed. And I have a problem when I went to South America. I can't speak the language.
Right.
But I'll tell you what we can speak: the language of love, the language of mutual respect, and the language of brotherhood or sisterhood.
Yes.
We have an automatic connection.
Definitely.
And when someone of our skill sets get to the point of saying, it's not my level of my belt that makes me any better than anyone else. It's where I don't know where I'm weak at that I need to grow. So after having about 5 different mentors, I changed gears and decided to have, and you met her, Coach Jocelyn.
Yes.
Come into my world and teach me things on a woman's perspective, on a person's intellect as a neurobiologist, how the brain functions and works, but more importantly, on a spiritual path that has allowed me, after 50 years, mind you, and this is the truth, by the way, 50 years, I finally walked back into fellowship because of a separation of belief. I felt I was let down. I was raised as a Catholic. Later on, my father became a Jehovah's Witness. Not saying one's better than the other, but I was kind of divided as to what's going on in this chaos of things. And then one of my very best friends invited me to his church, and I went inside, and I had an empowerment of needing to go there because there was something missing. And then when I went to Jocelyn, I told her what I was experiencing. She walked me through something I never walked through, and she was talking about being grounded.
Okay.
Finding myself getting back to connecting to earth and soul searching. And as a young guy coming up through the ranks, typical young dynamite, fight here, tournament there,
Sure.
security business, bouncer. I mean, kickboxing team. I mean, I was around violence all the time, and I never misused my skills. I think what happened is I realized how good I could hurt someone. And so, like you said before we came on the air here, about learning self-restraint and control.
Nice.
And that's where I've mastered that. Now, the part I want to still master is bettering my relationships with people and
Beautiful.
communicating. Yeah.
And mentioning that, we have a lot of people saying hello. Let's bring them in.
Awesome.
Okay. Scorch 1028. Hello, Master Frank. Hello. Josh Gosh. Hello, Mr. Soto. Hello. Maestro Baguelis Drosos. Hello, Master Frank Soto. Hello, sir. Hello, my friend. Hello. Hello. Scott Sandwell says hello from Canada.
He's a great guy.
Yes. Then we have Seabrook. Let's see. Hold on a second. There we go. Come on. Okay. Seabrook Martial Arts Academy. Master Sean Kelley is one of the best Kempo karate black belts on the globe. Salute from Canada, my great friend. Nice. Robert Dilly. Hello. Francisco Martinez. Hello, sir. Let's see. Scott says, 2 great martial artists with a ton of knowledge to share. Much respect. Thank you, sir. Sean Gordon says, Mr. Kelley is a great mentor. Nice. Christina Kebert, or did I say that right?
Christina Kebert. How do you become a member?
Yes.
I don't know what that means. Member of what?
I guess your association, sir?
Just
I don't know.
Contact me through our Facebook connections and we'll talk further.
Great. There we go. Josh Gosh, hello, Mr. Kelley. How are you, sir?
Hello, Josh.
Let's see. Julie Scortino, much
She's
respect.
awesome. She is her spirit is unmatched. She is such a lovely woman.
Nice. Vagelis Drosos, hello, Mr. Sean Kelley from Athens, Greece.
There he is.
Let's see. Josh says, more I help teach the art, the more I learn.
Exactly.
Nice. Sifu Alfred Magnan, good to see you, Mr. Kelley. Full salute.
Alfred's a great guy.
Sifu Ernesto Clorrenet, salud maestros from Casa de la Cultura China, Santa Fe, Argentina. Hug from the heart. Gracias,
awesome.
Sifu. Jorge Sánchez, hi, Master Kelley. And saludos, Frank. Saludos. Que viva el Kempo. Salud, sir. Says, Kempo is my lifestyle over 30 years. A martial human, Kempo human.
That's right.
Nice. Guru Catherine Sumter. Hello, Master Frank and Grandmaster Sean. Cheers from CCDP Worldwide, Washington State. I encourage my students to earn their black belts, but then go off on their own, find a different instructor, open their school, etc. If they come back to me, that's a precious gem. Todd
he says, what are your thoughts? Or she, Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay. Maestro Hans Hesselman.
Oh, there's my man right there. Yes.
I love it. Never told turn. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Hans.
I would love to interview him, sir.
He's awesome, man. What a great guy.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Alfred says, when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. Nice. I like that.
I don't think I'm green, but okay.
I'm still green, super
Okay.
green. At least in my mind.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Francisco Martinez, hello to both masters. Kempo is life size, definitely.
Definitely.
Let's see. Okay, we have a lot. Eric Ranger says, thank you both. Thank you. Jorge Sanchez says, as Kempo human, we must be humble as person and as instructor.
Lead by example.
Hernan Alfiro, salud, Maestro Frank. Great interview and concepts from Maestro Sean Kelley.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sifu Jose Miguel Morales, very insightful and motivational conversation. Gentlemen, greetings and full Kempo salute to you both from Chile.
Awesome.
Saludos. Oh, Maestro John Ward.
Where's my buddy? I miss my John Ward from Ireland. The brother.
What a great human being. I wish there were more like Sean.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Nice. Let's see. Kim Dahl says, hello, sir, from Denmark. What is the biggest problems in Kempo today?
COVID. Can't get with my brothers no more.
Nice. I like that. Yes. Scorch 1028 says, Master Frank, your internet connection is considerably better today than it was last week when you were. Okay, my connection is always good, my friend. The connection that was bad was Mr. Garza's, and I cannot control that. I'm sorry. We try to fix it. We'll probably fix it for next time, and once he does, we'll bring him back, okay? But I'm usually having a good connection. Thank you for your comment, sir. Jorge Sanchez,
had to leave Kempo for 15 years, something.
But I came back to Kempo and left JW, preaching house to house. Now I follow Jesus Christ and teach Kempo. I left. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, sir.
Okay.
Larry Charles says, by there, Frank and Sean, it was a privilege to have met Sean, even for a short period of time. He's had a major impact on me, showing me what a true martial human is.
That's a very nice man right there. He was very kind to me, and he'll always be a friend.
I meant hi. He said, hi there, Frank. Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Now, that's the answer. Got it. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Awesome interview. Full salute. Thank you, sir. Okay. Good. We got the comments out.
Yeah, the question was that young lady said about teaching and encouraging the student to go and work with other instructors and so forth. What I thought about that? You know, it's like anything else. You know, education, it's a free world where we train. And
Yes.
we shouldn't be feeling, you know, like we own anybody. Okay. Now, the only thing is, I would tell anyone, if you're investing in one particular style or system with an instructor and you're building a relationship, do understand the relationship is part of the investment of the physical side of the art.
Yes.
It can be very confusing when you got different philosophies from instructor to instructor. So there's where the only conflict would find its place. Now, in today's world in the martial art, everybody cross-trains. Everybody cross-trains. And this is my own findings, and it's my own opinion. There are actually very few people, I don't care who they are in the Kempo system or world, that know the brown belt material well enough to teach it.
Okay.
Okay. And if you get out, and matter of fact, I think Mike Miller wrote a book recently and had all these different people talk about their opinions on different questions he brought in. And a majority of them even brought in how they don't teach the extensions. Right. That's fine. It's personal. You know, I mean, even Ed Parker, you didn't see him do an extension out of the book. He did grafting. Once he got to a position he recognized, he'd take one extension and create 5 more of his own. So that was just for classroom illustration and template. Mm-hmm. It should get to the point where you can just, hey, whatever works, work. If you're in a situation, deal with it.
Right.
Freestyle. In regards to going with other instructors and stuff like that, hey, it's all good. I mean, it's like mentoring again. We talk about mentoring. If you find someone who's a better person of words of wisdom and finds peace and harmony in your art,
right,
talk to them a lot.
Oh, yeah.
When you're down and you need a up, especially when we did all have to deal with, and you and I talked about this during the COVID, and, you know, here's one thing I want to mention. And when the COVID came out, across the world, we were told to social distance ourselves. Remember that?
Yes.
That's the word they used.
Yes.
Ironically enough, there's a brain specialist named Dr. Daniel Amen. His book cover says, your brain is always thinking. Okay?
Right.
Open up the book and it talks about the COVID. And one of the first things he had a pet peeve about, and he said, I wish they didn't tell people to social distance themselves because we are social beings. We're
Yes.
supposed to be near. We're supposed to embrace. We're supposed to love and hug and touch.
Yes.
Okay. He said, I wish they would have said, let's physical distance ourselves because it's temporary. Well, the bottom line is life is temporary.
Definitely.
Our life is temporary.
Definitely.
And until we get over the grudges and the I and the me versus the we and the us, I can't wait, Frank, to be right next to you, standing right next to you, teaching side by side, learning side by side. Jamie Seabrook, side by side. Scott, that just came on there, Southwell, side by side. Frank Vigouroux, side by side. Hans Hesselman, side by side. I can go on with my journey of all these people who I've met. John Ward, side by side. Him and I had a conversation years ago at Vivian Spain's at his house. And he asked me all these questions, not as the fact that he was a great master instructor, but he had questions knowing that I could help him with the answers. Why? Because I had the ability to travel greater than maybe he did at that time. Being in America, I was able to do all those seminars and camps for so many years and bring in the top of the, of the notch of all the Bill Wallaces, the Joe Lewises, the Ed Parkers, the Planuses, the Michael Robert Pick, Reiner Schultz. I mean, I can go on and on, and as far as personal growth, if you can get a chance to work with a Jeff Speakman, do it. If you can work Mr. Tatum, do it. If you can work with, a Diane Tanaka, do it. Gil Hibben, guys, anybody in Kempo, get your Kempo knife. Get your personal knife while you can, just by the history of itself. Kevin Mills, get with him. Martin Wheeler, dude, that guy is he's a modern day Bruce Lee. I don't care what anybody says. He is phenomenal.
Yes.
And your people down there in your area, come on, we can. Roberto Vidal, this guy's got it going. He just loves people. He's one thing about Mr. Roberto and why we get along so well is we never chased rank. We just want to learn, and we want to share, and we want to connect. And I think like Mike Friedman, who is so involved with his city, the other day he was showing on Facebook, he went and brought breakfast to one of the local middle schools just by giving his gratitude. So what are you grateful for today? That little kid that's going to come in and see, Sifo Soto or Master Soto, whatever, you require them to say to you. And I always tell my students, I don't care if they're 5 or 6, I'll always say, sir, I'll always say, ma'am, and I'll always counter the balance with bowing to them as they bow and salute to me. It's mutual. It's a reflection. We give a reflection of energy.
Definitely.
Yep. So I really can. I was excited to tell you. In February, I got Rick Avery coming, and Mr. Speakman is going to be there.
Wow.
We've been friends. We made a connection. And whatever they know, come and show it. Someone is going to like what they do, and someone's going to have an opinion and say, hey, that's kind of cool. How'd you come up with that? That's growth. But don't forget your lineage. Don't forget your teachers. Play homage to them. Respect them.
Agree.
Like you did quite a few times so far. I saw you with Mr. Tatum.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay? It's an honor. Yes.
It's always going to be an honor to be in the company of those guys. Every chance I get a phone call, Bill Wallace will say, hey, let's go to lunch. Are you kidding? I'm going.
Definitely.
When those times are gone, they're gone. So it's quite critical. So be a good mentor by setting the stage for your students and tell them about citizenship, giving back, saying thank you to the school teachers, stepping up to the one that is being bullied. If we're teaching martial arts to our young and youth, create a youth leadership to be in the schools, police their own. And all this violence, you got two choices: live or die. Live or die. You could either ignore it or step up to the plate and realize it's now at a point in time in our society, we need to learn personal protection at all ages.
Definitely.
And what about health concerns? Yes, let's talk about it.
Okay, let me just bring some of the comments because we have some more comments here. Let's see. Bear Parker says aloha from Ed and Bear Parker.
My big brother. Man, I miss him.
Nice. Aloha. Gracias. Thank you. God bless. Jorge Sanchez, and I with you, Master Kelley, side by side, says Viva Kempo, love Kempo. Mr. Mills is very talented too. Yes, sir. Jose Miguel Ponce, greetings from Ecuador. Que viva el Kempo. Wow, we're hyped today. I love that hyped. Oh, gracias, saludos. Let's see. Scorch 1028 says, a question for both of you. Are you able to distinguish the Okinawan elements of your Kempo system from the Japanese elements?
Well, let's quickly answer that.
Yeah.
This is my left hand. It may look like it's not. This is my right hand.
Okay.
You know, if I go to any different land right now, I'm still going to have the same left hand and right hand. It doesn't matter where it's coming from.
Right.
So right now at the year 2022, everybody's talking about, well, we need to revolve, you know, we need to get up to date. A lot of things we're doing is outdated. Well, guess what? The only thing outdated is us and how we think.
Sure.
Because 20 years and 30 years from now, you're still going to have only 2 hands and 2 feet.
I agree.
But what you think and what you're capable of is what needs to change.
Right.
I'm 60 years old. Guess what? I can still kick. I can still punch. But I put more concentration on my health and wellness and nutrition and expanding my arms with love. That's as far as the difference between Okinawan and all these other systems or styles, irrelevant, because American Kempo was created in 1954 by people of all cultures. And Ed Parker was the torch carrier. So we owe it a lot to him and whoever he worked with and however he molded it and all the people that got involved. There are probably more people studying it today than when he was alive. The bottom line is that's called his legacy. And he deserves.
It's time to rise and shine.
I'm sorry. I was going to share you kicking and punching here. Let's see. Let's pull that off.
It's time to rise and shine. It's time to be about that business. It's time to understand that if you want to get something out of your life, you got to be willing to work for it.
There we go.
Yeah, I love training on the bag, man. It's one of my best friends.
Nice, nice. We have a couple more comments. Sorry about the interruption.
Oh, that's right.
Let's see. Where were we? Okay. Edward Chavez, Arizona here. Thank you for sharing, sir.
Thank you.
Sean Gordon says, learn to live, live to learn. Salute.
Salute. That's right.
Larry Charles says, what are your thoughts on balancing family commitments and the time effort required to grow and teach in a lifelong journey in Kempo? There have been so many teachers in the art that have gone through divorces, including me.
That's a great subject. And I started the subject saying, what happens is we marry Kempo and we put all our loved ones secondary because we feel unloved, or maybe we were already broken. That's really the truth. When you find a partner who learns you as you learn them, culturally speaking, men are like that. We attach ourselves to something, and hopefully it's not something that's an addiction to bad health or trouble, crime, violence. And what happens is we're trying to really find who we are. And what happens is when you don't have a mentor again, most men don't even know how to understand a woman. We think we do, but we need to learn how to open up and realize it's okay to ask questions, and our feelings count. Rejection really is not one of our best friends. And when you can communicate and talk discussion, and these are things I'm still now learning at the age and status that I hold now today, is the ability to communicate with someone who's not going to hold it against me, but if anything, they're going to make me thrive to be a better person come tomorrow. So, Larry Charles, you brought a great topic up, and I would only say this: prioritize what is more meaningful in your life. There is balance. We can all have balance. So sometimes it's okay to step away from 24/7. And that's what happened to me, why I closed my school after 30 years, is I got burnt out, needed to do something else, and went full-time into the security business. Now I work for John Maxwell. I don't just read John Maxwell. I work for John Maxwell. And he is probably the most authentic individual, just like the book I sent to you, Mr. Soto.
Oh, yeah.
That
Amazing.
book is my day to go.
Thank you.
Every day I will go to intentional living. And if somebody said, Mr. Kelley, what is it you do today in the martial arts? I teach people how to be intentional, how to live it, how to love it, and how to learn it. Lead by example. Just follow my lead. I'll take you with me, side by side.
Nice. I like that.
Yes, sir.
Nice, nice. I wanted to ask, you mentioned this earlier, and I've read it before, and you mentioned it before. And I of course, I have my own ideas, but I always like to ask, what do you mean, or what's the concept that you mean when you say martial human? Can you elaborate?
I knew you were going to ask. I was waiting for you to ask me that. A martial human is a human. Now, the word martial stands for war.
Right.
Which means by nature, we are protectors by nature. Yes?
Yes, sir.
And everything about civilization has been based on war. Watch the news.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I believe, not that I've served the war as a person of the military, but I've served the streets through my experience with the Guardian Angels for over 30 years and traveled with them. Became one of the instructors. And I was part of the martial arts, getting more involved with the Guardian Angels in regards to giving back to communities by the way in which we serve. But as martial human means this: as a human being, it's not our right to take another life. And it's not yours right to take mine. So you got a choice. You can either engage a situation or disengage. Learn enough skill that you can recognize a problem before it gets that bad and either stop it, diffuse it, or get out of there. Also, as a martial human, you get to the skills where you can recognize a problem just by leaving your house on your way to work. And I would only hope you don't just drive by and watch some innocent person get beat up or be robbed or be raped. We have a moral obligation as martial humans, and that is to protect the weak. And when there's crisis, be first to give. I shouldn't say it like that. We should be given every day. Just remember this: never forget where you come from. Don't get so caught up in that money is what you're all about, because you can't take it with you when you leave.
Right.
So be rich and grow. Grow rich. So you said you were pretty confident in where you are today as a man in which you are turning 50.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a house?
Yes.
Do you have food in your stomach?
Definitely.
Do you have loved ones?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have friends?
Yes,
Do you have job security?
I do.
Are you a man of faith?
Yes, sir.
You're very rich.
Thank you.
So my point is, can we imagine the ones that don't have a majority of what I just said?
Yeah, it's a problem for sure.
It is.
It's
And see, you and I have become friends, and look how far away we are in distance. The only thing that separates us is a plane ticket.
That's right.
Once you develop a loyalty between two people, or the ones you consider part of your inner circle, I'm the type of person, if I have a loyalty towards someone, there is nowhere on the planet I won't go to them. That's old school. And my word is my bond. So if I say I'm going to do something, you don't have to ask me twice. And if I love someone, it's with 100% of my heart. So there's one thing I've learned to do better. Okay. And that is, in relationships, for the ones you love them to the end, to the very end. Otherwise, don't get involved. Don't hurt people with due intention. So as a martial human, you as a master instructor, I'm going to say, do understand what all those titles stand for, Mr. Soto.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, and when you do understand that and you walk that, you protect your own image. And if I were to say in this question, if something were ever to happen to you, or as time goes forward, what do you want your legacy to be known as? How do you want to be remembered? Got you thinking, don't I?
I don't think much of that. I think once you're gone, you're gone. I would like for my kids and my family to be okay.
Okay.
And I would like to, well, I just like to serve people. So if they can be better in any way because of what I did, then I'm happy. I'm pleased.
Well, you're a humble man. That's part of the reason why you don't have enough information to share with me. But I will say this. I can tell you one person who's going to remember you for a very long time to come. You want to know his name? Hector.
Right. Yes.
So guess what? That's one person you've already made a very powerful impact on.
And it's a privilege and an honor to be able to do that.
Only imagine how many others, and you're not even thinking about who they might be because you're just doing what you do naturally.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what? You've already established your legacy. That is what you're for. And people will remember that. So I thank you for being you. I thank you for allowing me and others to come here and share a little bit of knowledge and wisdom, and never to be afraid. I don't know it all, but I'm still on this beautiful journey. And I know it's not really a destination. It's a journey. 5 years from now, I hope I can say, I'll tell you this, look at, when you get a chance, look at the pictures of what I look like in image now versus 2014 on the cover of the book that Mr. Miller did.
Right.
I'm in better place now than I've ever been in my entire life. And there's a lot of reason behind that. And
Nice.
I'm glad that our dear friend Ed Parker piped in and said hello to us. Okay. Because he's one of the people that have been going around for years telling people, calm down and find more peace.
Right.
Calm down and find more peace.
Agree.
You know, and that's why I'll always have the admiration for him and the relationship that we, did for each other.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, let's see. Kim Dahl says, need to run, stay safe, sir, and in touch. Well, I got to say, sir, thank you so much. I always appreciate when people, share their time, time, the most valuable asset we have, and share their knowledge and their wisdom. You are definitely an example for the community. And thank you, if I may say so, thank you so much for what you do, for where you're about, and for all the work that you put out for the art and for the community, because we definitely need more of that. We need more people doing their thing, in and to serve others, basically.
Well, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to challenge you to something maybe you can put out there in your network.
Yes, sir.
A couple of years ago, I decided to challenge some of my black belts and some of the people that were coming to my venues. And most of it, the new connection now to other people is social media. It has its good and its bad. But to flip the chart from propaganda to politics to all the hate and bad things, let me ask you if you'll be a participant of putting out things that are positive and encouraging every day, once a day. If you follow what I do, it's always something positive. It's always something encouraging. And I'll usually put out there also people who I haven't spoken to or I haven't seen in a while. And I call it a shout out. But I think people like you and myself, leaders of our own communities or other communities, is to example positive thinking and positive speaking and put out those little images of encouragement so that people also see positive energy, not always just the negative vibrations. So join me on that.
Definitely. Yes. Already there. Yes, of course. Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, sharing the good, and like I said, inspiring people and making them fall in love with the art and with service, basically.
Being in service, correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, and I really appreciate you being on the show. You're the man, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This was great, and thank everybody that was here watching and commenting. Thank you all for all your comments. You guys are amazing. This wouldn't be possible without all of you guys. Jorge Uribe says a big salute to both of you, and thanks to Mr. Kelley for such insightful advice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I just got to say thank you so much, sir. This was amazing. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that, sir?
They just connect through my Facebook page.
Okay, let's see. Let's put it out there. There it is. Okay, there's the Facebook page, sorry. Sean Kelley. Okay, you can check him there. Also, there's Instagram, right?
There is.
There we go. Okay. Anything you want to add before we go, sir?
Thank you for this opportunity. I always look forward to connecting with you and communicating and answering questions for people who are the generations following. If we can encourage them a little light in their shadow, then let's make it light. Let's do it. And I look forward to future traveling and getting to see some of the people I haven't seen in a number of years.
Nice. That would be amazing. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, everybody. May I remind you, let's see, October 29, we have the Zoom masterclass with Grandmaster Larry Tatum. There it is. That's on October 29. If you're interested in being, connecting into Zoom, just send me a message and I will be happy to tell you how to do it. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon, and bye-bye.